So if you ever wondered who the all-time Premier League appearance holders are for your club, possibly not, but sure have a look anyway. See if you can guess every club. Bournemouth, Steve Cook. Just like it will be for Brighton and Huddersfield next season, Bournemouth were embarking on unknown territory under Eddie Howe when they were promoted to the Premier League for the first time in their history. Try telling Steve Cook 5 years ago, when he was on loan at Mansfield Town, that he'd soon be a record-holding Premier League appearance holder for somebody, and he'd have laughed his head off. Watford, Aurelio Gomez. Okay, so Watford haven't been in the Premier League for that long. The Hornets have only enjoyed 3 Premier League seasons, so it's not much of a surprise that their record appearance holder is Aurelio Gomez with 76, just edging Troy Deeney by 1. Crystal Palace, Joel Ward. In the greater context of things, Joel Ward will be remembered for his winning strike at Stamford Bridge that sent the wheels spinning out of controls for Chelsea in the autumn of 2015, which basically sent Mourinho into a bit of a midlife crisis. Ward has been at Crystal Palace since 2012 and has been a virtual ever-present for them since gaining promotion, missing just 10 league games. Swansea City, Wayne Routledge. Had Ashley Williams stayed at Swansea City, he would currently be leading the way for the Welsh outfit. Having said that, he'd also have been embroiled in a relegation battle last season and would have been forced to listen to Bob Bradley's team talks about PKs and road games. Wayne Routledge, finally settled after 9 clubs in 6 years, has overtaken his former captain's total of 181. Leicester City, Muzzy Izzet. Having spent 8 years at the Walker Stadium, Muzzy Izzet made 222 appearances for Leicester City, before departing in May 2004 upon relegation. If only he'd just hung on another 11 years. Granted, he would have been a 41-year-old man with broken knees, but still. West Brom, Chris Brunt. Considering Chris Brunt has been at West Brom since 2007, it's no real surprise the Northern Irishman has represented the club the most times in the top flight, playing 243 games for them. The midfielder, who spent much of last season at left back, is just 3 ahead of James Morrison, who arrived in the same transfer window. Man City, Joe Hart. In the ruthless world of billionaire owners, it looks very likely that Man City's top 2 appearance makers will have been unfairly run out of the club. For almost a decade, Richard Dunn topped the charts with 253, but then he was drummed out and cashed in for a fancier model almost the second the club came into some money. Joe Hart is the sole remnant of the Stuart Pearce era, in other words, the days when the club barely had a couple of shillings to scrape together, and he too looks set for an abrupt farewell, cutting short his 266 appearances. West Ham, Mark Noble. One of the least surprising names to appear on the list. When Mark Noble inevitably passes on, pathologists will no doubt find not blood but a stream of claret and blue running through his veins. The Hammers captain is about to embark on his 14th season with the Boyle club, with all but 2 of those spent in the top flight. Tottenham, Darren Anderton. What does it say about Tottenham's inability to hold on to their best players that the man with the most Premier League appearances is also the same one who was labelled sick note and spent many a season in the treatment room? Jermaine Defoe was number 2 on the list, 14 behind with 276, the same man who wrestled between the bench and the exit door during his time at White Hart Lane. Stoke City, Ryan Shawcross. Remember when Ryan Shawcross was linked with half the Premier League 6 or 7 years ago? The former Man United trainee has spent 11 years with the Potters, and then he made his England debut. Zlatan scored a hat-trick in 10 minutes, suddenly nobody wanted him anymore. Southampton, Jason Dodd. Jason Dodd's time at Southampton came to an unceremonious end in May 2014, when he was fired as an academy coach for not spending enough time with the players. A sad end for a club legend who devoted much of his life to the Saints, spending 16 years there as a player, where he featured in 329 Premier League games. Arsenal, Ray Parlour. You might have expected a more illustrious name to appear here, but Ray Parlour was an underrated servant for Arsenal. 333 Premier League appearances during a 12-year career at Highbury, none to be sniffed at. Newcastle, Shay Given. Shay Given finally left Newcastle in January 2009, having tired of playing behind a defence that wouldn't have looked out of place in an under-8 Sunday League tournament. The Irishman had spent 12 years at the club, making 335 Premier League appearances. Everton, Tim Howard. Considering Tim Howard was almost shepherded back to the States after a brief and shaky stay at Old Trafford, the US goalkeeper did very well to carve out a career in the northwest of England, making 354 Premier League appearances for Everton across 10 years. He even managed to help himself to a goal, although it was against Adam Bogdan, so does that really count? Chelsea, John Terry. Of course, John Terry places highest for Chelsea. The Blues captain finally bowed out after a farewell which took about a year, drawing the curtain on a 19-year career at Stamford Bridge. Debuting on Boxing Day 1998, it's unlikely that his achievement will ever be broken. Liverpool, Jamie Carragher. No, it's not Steven Gerrard, who was 4 games short of catching his Reds teammate for this award. Don't think he'll be too bothered. Jamie Carragher debuted for Liverpool in 1996 and made 508 Premier League appearances for the club, right up until his final game against QPR in 2013, when he smashed the woodwork from about 30 yards out. This from a man who had a goal-scoring allergy like you wouldn't believe. Manchester United, Ryan Giggs. Not just the record Premier League appearance holder for Man United, but of all time. Ryan Giggs must have been a monster when it came to late-night yoga and ice baths to have had this sort of longevity. He debuted in August 1992 before wrapping up his career 13 titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and 632 Premier League appearances later. The club have yet to win a Premier League title without him. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure you check out Footy Feed for all the latest transfer rumours and news.